second here to see if we can get it to. Okay.
Excellent. I heard that loud and clear. We're on?
Yes.
Excellent. Folks, I just finished having a lunch with the State of Washington Department of the CIO. So with the CIO for the State of Washington and two members, a member of his staff and then a member of the legislative committee. They were talking about the Scrum bill that they want to pass to make Scrum a law for IT in Washington and also influence the way legislation is done. And they want me to present the bill to the legislature, which I'm totally jazzed about. So just had lunch with them about that. We're making strides. The world could get better. That's it. Rob goes, okay. All right.
I said cool, but you couldn't hear me.
What does that mean? Make Scrum a law?
Yeah, it means that in IT projects, Scrum project management would be required if anything's ever going to be fast-tracked. And waterfall would be allowed, but all the existing checks and balances would still have to apply because it's the riskier method, is what that means. They're trying to not have as many $50 million projects that show results 10 years later, and those results may or may not be what they wanted, but instead have $1 million projects that show results in about 3 months, which is then Scrum, and that way they get to inspect and adapt. Or, well, that is a perfect play for Scrum, is part of how that goes. But
this is state government you're talking about?
Correct. The State of Washington CIO's office, but then also now they're already Scrum. Now they're bringing the legislative branch group stuff. It sounds interesting.
So, so they're adding another department that's going to go Scrum.
No. All tech, all software, all computer hardware, all tech for the state is an existing group. The CIO is the steward of it. They're taking that group to be Scrum, and then they're passing policy to what do I want to say? Facilitate Scrum in other legislation as well. So they want test-driven legislation more often, where it says, here's the goal, not the specific method. What's the innovative, quick, cheap solution that actually delivers the goal? So not, I want a bridge across the water, or I want a ferry across the water, or I want underwater subway tunnel underneath the water. It's, as a commuter, I can get from city A to city B in less than 19 minutes. The solution is flexible, and then the budget cap applies. They're aiming to do more of that because we've found across project management that those projects have less risk and get done faster at a lower cost. All that said, let's rock stand-up. If you guys don't mind, I'll attempt to kick us off. In the last week, I updated CAD of the suspension again. We went from version 29F to V30. So version 30 is the current version of the suspension in CAD. Now that said, it's to be determined. It hasn't been tested. The version of the suspension that's still been tested and is used in the field is version 25, which is flagged in CAD. So anybody who is building a new suspension can see that there. And that uses Rob Moorbacher's toe adjust arms in the rear. V30 is being tested in part tonight. If we have a very productive evening here in the Linwood shop, it'll be all the way tested. We'll find out. So that was in the last week. Then in the last week, I did set up a visit with the testing team at Boeing, their test engineers, and so two of them have arrived, and we'll see who else comes. I updated CAD on the windshield, side windows, and rear windows of one of the Aeroshell prototypes. Oh gosh. Updated WIKISPEED finances. Coordinated shipping and receiving of one of our cars that's just been delivered to the joint venture factory tonight So they have another car now to prototype with. Had a sync with the CEO of Momentum Power, our powertrain partner, on the goals that are relevant for us on the capacitor-powered electric drive module, which was developed entirely in-house by Momentum Power. And I'd love for them to pair with Michael Olczek when they can. What else? Help seal the windows upstairs at the WIKISPEED shop. So now driving rain won't come in the shop anymore. That happened. I really should have briefed this. I know that's not even a third of what the Linwood team and me as part of it got done, but that's what I remember on the top of my head. In sprint planning, I'll go through what we're going to do next. Blocking issues. I don't have a test yet for the race suspension of the car for the Nürburgring. The Nürburgring, famous punishing racetrack in Germany, right on the border with Belgium and France. It has an area of it called the carousel that's incredibly rough and abrupt, and it's famous for breaking cars' suspension. And we need to develop the test of how to see if our suspension is even close to that spec, so we can develop to that spec because we're racing on the Nordschleife, the Nürburgring, next year. So that's a blocking issue, is figuring out the light lift, inexpensive to run test. Because the expensive test is you fly your car over to the Nürburgring and you drive it there for 24 hours and you measure the stress cracks. So we know a test that we can't afford to engage in. So what's the cheap, quick version is the next step. That's what I've got for sprint daily stand-up, weekly stand-up in this case. Who would like to go next?
I'll go if no one else wants to. So I ended up meeting with this innovation forum at my local community college, which is Tarrant County College, about possibly integrating the SGT01 or the C3 development into their curriculum somehow. See if they can help us out a little bit, maybe help them out a lot more. I also just a little bit ago, embedded the calendar, the Google Calendar for wikispeedinfo@gmail.com into the website, and then created a menu item for it, so we can use that as a kind of a centralized way to track events and things like that. Let's see. Yesterday, I attended the product owner meeting for the first time, for me anyway, and we discussed some of the logistics of Carica and strategies for grooming the backlog. And then this week, one thing I did different than previously, because I have the login credentials for it, is I tweeted about this stand-up on WIKISPEED's Twitter account. And then the only block would be I actually do not have the login credentials for the Facebook account associated with WIKISPEED to also send that out when we're doing our stand-up meetings or regular meetings. And that's it for me.
Everything you just said is awesome. That's, oh gosh, that's so awesome. The Facebook credentials, it's not a separate account. You're added, your existing Facebook account is added as an admin. That seems to be how the fan pages run. So any current admin can add you. I know I'm one. If you somehow help me remember, I will be happy to do that. Or anyone else with admin credentials can do that too, and they add your account as another admin. That sounds magic land. I can't wait to make better use of the calendar now that it's publicly posted on the site, because you're awesome.
Perfect. Thank you.
I can go next if Chris is done. Okay. Yeah, so I head down on the planning to look at the status on the Service Mark website, and I just posted an update on the email thread, and so basically they say that it's been approved for or it's been reviewed and completed for publication, and the publication date is July 29th. I'm not sure exactly the significance of that, but sounds good. And the other thing was to look at the 501c, and there's a website called something Findway. It used to be have a more sensible name like Washington State Attorney for small business and nonprofits. Anyway, I looked. I downloaded their guide. It's 215 pages long.
Wow.
Guide for nonprofits. I printed the relevant parts, just the thing we're interested in, the 501c, but I haven't had time to do much with it. Except I just looked it over, and it's good in that it poses alternatives and questions, and like, do you really want to do this, and things like that. That one I'm probably only a quarter of the way into. And finally, I was going to look at Creative Commons and the overall open source versus GPL versus whatever. Again, a while back, I looked at Creative Commons. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't gotten too far with that. So that is also just a small way into it. And blocking items are as a permanent U.S. resident, I had to report my foreign bank accounts, and they've just changed the form so that you no longer report to the Treasury Department, you report to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Unit of the Treasury.
Wow.
So and the fine for not doing it is $500,000. So I got that done, and I'm tired from that. So that's the blocking thing. But that should disappear as I get more sleep.
Oh, Lauren, oh my gosh. Well, I'll quickly add on, because you reminded me, with the 501c3 filing progress. Thanks so much for getting the ridiculously long form to skim, and hopefully that helps propel the filing. I had a interview for a book that's being written by the Post-Growth Institute. They're a macroeconomics research think tank, and their tact is that nonprofit companies are the only company structure that won't be limited on a macroeconomic scale during a resource crunch. When investment growth is hindered, or maybe even flattened, they said they can still grow, and they have a set of models as to why that's true, and that it's very interesting. So got to talk to them, and they absolutely endorsed that we've got to be a 501c3 as soon as possible, and they congratulated that we're already a Washington State nonprofit, because they said that's actually the economic model that's the most stable according to their thought projections. That was useful. And then in line with what Chris had been saying, I forgot it again already. The calendaring. The build in St. Louis in August, I did cancel it because we didn't have access to the Red River College car, and I confirmed with Red River College that we're closing the relationship with them because we hadn't been able to find an agreeable way to move forward together, which is really too bad and sad. But got to close the chapter on that. That also did happen this week, which is good because now we know what we are doing and what we're not. So Chris, thanks for reminding me with that when you're talking about the Team WIKISPEED calendar and what's on it. Okay, Lauren, awesome. Any blocking issues or things that the team can do to help speed you up?
Nothing really. I'm just going to get some more sleep and carry on. I still got a lot of tax things to catch up, but just trying to stay healthy, and so I think that my sprint for this week was I'll probably cut down a little bit for the planning this time.
Sounds fair, Lauren. Thank you very much.
Well, I can go next. This week I ordered the windshield and I received the windshield. I ordered the foam, the 10-pound 2-part foam. for for the windshield to build the plug. I'm expecting that tomorrow, and that's it.
Any blocking issues, Rob? Anything the team can do that helps accelerate you being awesome?
No, there's nothing the team can really do. I just need more time now.
Yeah, well, always, right?
Wait,
Okay. Thanks so much, Dr. Moorbacher. As you know, that's epic to us doing all kinds of things. Thanks for working on the next iteration of the DOT legal windshield.
It's awesome. I have a demo for it too.
Okay. Who would like to go next, Michael Wolchek?
I guess that leaves me. I was in the same discussion with you about college. It's kind of depressing, but at least we have a revolution. I was in the backlog grooming meeting Wednesday. It really would be productive, I think.
Excuse me, you're fading in and out for me anyway.
His microphone is really across my headset. Is it better?
No, Michael, we need to buy you a new microphone.
Okay. I have to stop losing the ones that I have. Anyway, as for progress this week, not a whole lot. The HeroX challenge. Apparently, they have us on the homepage. Would like a picture of one of us or of the car, perhaps, so that they can associate it with the challenge. And someone was, I can't remember who it was, that wanted to take a look at the warning. I don't think anybody's looked at it yet. And no blocks. That's it for me.
Michael, it sounded like you needed a photo of the car for the challenge. Is that the challenge on HeroX?
They wanted a photo. They didn't specify whether it was a photo of the car or a photo of one of us.
Yeah, for what? For HeroX?
Yes, for HeroX.
Okay, sure. Okay, so wikispeed.org/press, P-R-E-S-S, has some pictures. One of those might serve.
Okay.
Okay.
I will work on it.
Oh, when you can. Your work on the electric motor module is probably even more transformative, but thanks so much, because HeroX does let us scale if it gets interest from folks. Okay, then. Is there anyone on the call with a stand-up who has not yet given it? Excellent. That takes us to demo. Downstairs, the transmission of car number 1 is fanned out all over Bay 1, which is awesome, and Conrad Nark is working on it right now, as he has been the last 3 sprints, and that's a extra large. Today he's bolting the 5-speed transmission and its flywheel and its clutch to the R18A engine, and that's an extra large task all by itself. So there's a bit of demo in that there's transmission parts all over the shop, and that's cool. Other demoable stuff is in CAD, the CAD for the suspension and the CAD for the aeroshell cap are both demoable in our CAD folder. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can screen share that really quickly. Full screen. Are people seeing my desktop? Oh God. So hopefully, so Dropbox, WIKISPEED CAD, and let's do aeroshell. There's the interior cap. And this cap is smaller, lighter, cheaper, and oh gosh, can I spin it around with just my laptop and without a mouse? That's the side view. That's the top view. It's the front. That's the least attractive isometric view it could choose. Thanks, GeoMagic. Okay, now we're looking up from underneath. Trying to get a top view. But anyway, it's a NACO airfoil shape. Maybe the integrated view is better. Without a center mouse button, I can't pan around it very easily. And so on a laptop touchpad, it's pretty difficult. Here it is on the car, and this also shows part of the updated suspension. Part of it. More of the updated suspension is downstairs.
Once it opens, if you choose view, then you can do a rotate.
Oh, I love your viewing and analysis.
Yes, and then you've got the rotate.
Much better. So here we are with fender liners, the interior module cap, an engine cap, and side scoops. And there's a little person's mock-up to see if the eyes have a decent field of view out that little stubby windshield. The side scoops pull into the radiator. None of this has been built. This is all just living in CAD. And Michael, thanks so much for that. This has side window glass, but it doesn't have side window cutouts, nor does it have the A-pillar triangle cutout, so that's still to be determined. And it does have a rear windshield, but it doesn't have rear windshield cutouts in this CAD. Luckily, it is shelled out inside, so we can see it's a 1/4 inch thick carbon fiber part, which is very easy for us to make. Just like these stub fender liners and aeroshell. What that lets us do is prototype and test even more quickly. And what I hope it lets us do is also increase the profit margin to fund our nonprofit on Rob Moorbacher's aeroshells by offering them as an upgrade instead of the default. Because they're currently $5,000 per aeroshell. This setup could be cheaper than that, and then we could have basically the Moorbacher line, or the More Composites line, which is the upgrade. And that's a potential revenue stream for the nonprofit that way. So that's the demoable stuff I've got. There, now you're just back to me. Okay, who would like to go next?
I tried to send the picture of the windshield. I don't know if anybody got it.
Can you screen share it, Rob?
I sent it as a message. It looks like. I could try again. I mean,
if you emailed it to me, I can open my email and screen share.
Okay.
Well, someone else goes. I don't want to slow us down, but do
right.
That.
All right, somebody else go then.
But yeah, email it to me if you can, and I'll bring it up.
I'll go real quick while he's working that out. But of course, I have to scroll up to see, so I made notes. So.
Oh, I've got it up. I'll screen share as soon as Chris is done. Chris,
okay, so my demo would be the calendar that I created, which is at wikispeed.org/calendar. And I don't know if I can share that or not. Try it real quick. We'll just do this. This is the fastest way, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, on the far left, the green monitor with a white arrow in it. There we go.
I misclicked.
Oh, now I see me. That's bizarre.
There we go. So this is the calendar page I put up on the right-hand corner. There, just because it's the newest thing. Maybe eventually we go under About Us or something else. But this is the Google Calendar, which right now we only show this week's little events, which I think we can probably work on and correct. But
this is awesome.
And let me go back and learn how to not share my screen.
Who has permission to edit that?
So anybody that can log into WIKISPEED info, basically anybody that can log into the YouTube account can edit that.
Got it.
My understanding, I need to read a little more about it, but I think that that calendar had to be shared publicly to be visible on the page.
Sounds fine.
It's actually possible that anybody that adds that to their own Google Calendar can add stuff to it. So I think it's at this point it may be very wide open.
And I got to say, that's not a problem for me. We'll wait and see if somebody fills it up with text that says poop or something, and at that point, we'll audit tighter security. But we're an open group. That's fine.
It gave me the option to add to my own calendar, which worked.
And I believe when you add, I'm not positive of this, and maybe Lauren, you can verify this for next week. But once you add it to your own calendar, if you add something to it, to that calendar, I do believe that becomes available to the whole group.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it right now.
We'll learn more about it by using it. Sounds great as a V1, Chris. And I think people can see the windshield that I'm one-hand left-handed typing while I hold my laptop up in the other hand that Rob Moorbacher collected. Rob, do you want to tell us anything about this guy?
Well, it's 71 inches wide, is 36 inches deep, and it will fit. I think it'll work perfectly for what we need.
36 inches deep.
Yeah, and 71 inches wide, so it's about spare 5 inches on each side.
And what vehicles is it from?
It is from a Chevy Express 2014, and the great thing is, it's only $150.
Love it. That's just cool. Awesome, Rob. Anything else you want to tell us about this as a demo, sitting in your shop, being awesome?
It's just we're just waiting for the two-part foam to get there so we can start forming the form.
Epic. Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
It's already awesome. Cool. Who else has something to contribute to demo?
Just real quick, I wanted to point out I had forwarded an email to the Google groups about the innovation forum from from Tarrant County College. They had sent me some documents that we have to either try to fill out or match up what I'm trying to do with them to what their plan is. And I just forwarded that up, I don't know, an hour or so ago to the Google group, so everybody, if they have time, can look over that. I plan on working on that intensively next week, but if anybody has any suggestions, it would be much appreciated.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Any other items for demo? Something visual is the best. Is there anyone with an item to demo that hasn't yet shown it? Awesome. Then that takes us to retrospective. We do retrospective immediately following demo because it's the point when we know the most. If you guys don't mind, I'll go second. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I'll give myself a 7 since I got the windshield finally and ordered the materials. I'll give the team a 8. It's progressing. Things are being done.
What would you suggest, Rob, that we as a team could possibly do in the next week that would make this more fun and maybe we'd accomplish even more in the next week? What could we try?
Maybe more testing, I'm thinking. That's it.
Love it. That's it. That's the only. Thanks, Rob. More testing. Got it. Of any particular component or any particular process?
I think more like the suspension, the car, the suspension, maybe the hub, your hubs that you're coming up with, your suspension.
Yeah. Well, it's not just me, but I am part of it, and yeah, it definitely needs lots of testing.
Yeah. That's all I can think of right now.
Thanks, Rob. Sounds like a good start. Okay. Who'd like to go? Well, I'll go second. I'd give us a 10 and 10. Happiness in roll, being the first one. Team WIKISPEED being a kind of do-ocracy. Anyone who wants to step in and do something gets to make it happen. And I feel like I'm able to partner with a lot of awesome people. That makes me really happy in my role. Then for the team's absolutely a 10. It's rocking its backlog for the C3, for that evolving. Is that a Conrad? Oh. Who?
I don't know if Roy's the right guy.
Roy. I'm one of the. Well, that's great. I'll.
Just so you know.
I appreciate you letting me know. If you can, let everybody know we get started at 7.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, Conrad. Awesome.
transmission swap is trying to made it. I think there might be a little bit of a problem
Oh,
here, but
well, okay. I will see if I can pair with you. See if we can get Roy to pair with you, too.
well, it looks like it might be wrong.
Well,
Like that kind of wrong.
I see. We've got a milling machine. We can do anything.
Exactly.
Okay. Process improvement on my end. I'd resonate with Rob that if we could get a part undergoing testing in our sprint demo in the next week from any of the shops, like Michael Wolchek has done so much of, that would be pretty awesome. It propels the distributed team, and the local team learns a lot. So I'd be a fan of that as a process improvement, focusing on a test-driven development for the demoing the test happening. Who would like to go next?
I'll go real quick. What's up? I'll give myself an 8. I think. Hey, I think I did a lot more than I expected, but not the things I expected. So I'm going to give myself an 8 on that. And then I'll go 9 for the team because I think everybody is still doing very awesome, but I haven't seen so much interaction on the various forums and haven't seen a lot of demos posted lately, so not quite a 10. And for me, the process improvement, I do like the testing idea very much. In fact, I think we had previously mentioned actually writing cards based on the test required to be done. To me, the test that would be most important first off would maybe be the regression test, which leads to my actual process improvement, which is maybe more videos of the SGT-01 being driven around town. I'd like to see the videos of the car being driven excite me. So I'd like to see more videos of the things being integrated right into the car.
Awesomely awesome. Thank you, Chris, very much. Who would like to go next?
I can go. Yeah, so I'm giving myself a 6, even though I didn't do too much. I forgot in the stand-up to mention we did have a meeting with 3 on the product owner backlog. Yeah, and I sent out an email with a couple of ideas we came up with. One was to reduce the number of columns and kind of agree on them. I would have said let's go ahead and do it, but people kind of lose track.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Okay, if you think, like, yeah, okay.
There's
And what's that?
There's too much. The Carica is becoming difficult to navigate because of the number of columns.
Okay, and the other thing is we figured out how to color code the cards. Is you just pick a color for the text in the title, or for the, in the title there's an option for color, and so then you can color code them. And we talked about doing that as a way of linking up different things and making, allowing a visual kind of a lane for it. So that, and so based on that, it's a 6 for me, a 10 for the team, and I agree on the testing. I think the testing is very good.
Who would like to go next? Thank you very much, Lauren.
I think that leaves me. I'm going to give myself a 3. I think I'm going to go for a 9 for the team. We're doing pretty good, but there's always room for improvement. Process improvement, I'll agree with the testing. Testing is really important for test-driven development.
Thank you, Michael. Timely as well, that you could have fit that into a tweet. Awesome. Is there anyone with a retrospective who has not yet given it? Perfect. Sprint planning. I'll kick us off. In the next sprint, I hope to mock up a static assembly of suspension module V30. to have the front of one of our test cars on its wheels using suspension V30. It won't be articulating probably, but I'm going to try to do that this week. I do hope to put cutouts for the side and rear windows into CAD for the aeroshell cap. And I do hope to do anything Rob Moorbacher asks of me for the next windshield module, because that's going to be awesome. And I also hope to get down to the joint venture factory and set up the 3 cars that are there on display. And I hope to then, to Chris Wallace's process improvement suggestion, if I'm really lucky, get a chance to post a GoPro video, or in some case a video of that electric car with its supercapacitors being driven in the joint venture factory and then outside. So I'll attempt to do those things in this next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I am in Boston, but Thursday I'm back here, and I'm here this weekend, which gives me Sunday to hopefully do that at the joint venture factory, and tonight to work here in Linwood to hopefully do that suspension test. Well, at least suspension assembly. We'll see what I can do about test. Now, I did groom the backlog just a little bit about an hour and a half ago, just a teeny bit, and you guys may notice that as of right now in Carica, one of the top priority items is helping develop the test for the carousel at the Nürburgring. So maybe that'll happen, but I don't know if I can commit to that in sprint planning, because that's a little bit of a muse issue or an epiphany issue, figuring out what it is, and it's hard to put a timeline on innovation. Once we know what it is to do, we can scrum that and make it fast. Rock, who would like to go next?
I can. So I'm going to focus on that, slogging through and figuring out things about the 501c. And before you go, because I know you got to go soon, I did want to make a suggestion. Have you seen comedians in cars getting coffee?
Yes.
Jerry Seinfeld. There's one with Jay Leno in a 1947 number 40 off the line Porsche.
Wow.
It's new, and it looks like the car. It still looks like a car from the future.
Awesome. So inspirational there. Lauren, thanks. The 501c3 filing, from a paperwork perspective, is the most transformative thing we're looking at in the backlog at all. If you're able to make even another dent in that, that's huge, as you know. Thank you very much. Who would like to go next?
I will go next. Well, I plan to get the foam and start the form. Hopefully, have a form to demo next week. That'll probably be it.
Love it. Oh, I'd ask you to try to find a windshield wiper assembly that matches that thing on Craigslist or in a junkyard.
Okay, I can do that too. I will find a windshield wiper assembly also for it.
Well, as a stretch goal, you don't have to promise just because I want it, but as a stretch goal, that'd be cool.
Pretty easy. I can find one of those.
Thanks for trying. Awesome. Anything else, Rob?
That's it.
Who would like to go next?
I guess for my sprint planning, I plan on working on this TCC Innovation Forum documents that I just forwarded. I'm going to look over them and see everything they require and see how much information we already have on the website can easily fit into what they want and how much needs to be modified to make it work. And then this is just a holdover from last week that I didn't do. So I was working on a terms of service, or a terms of, I don't know exactly what it's called, but apparently when you have an e-commerce site, you have to have some sort of a terms of service type page. So I wanted to email some kind of template to the team to see if it matches up with our goals, and we can go ahead and get it on the website.
Interesting. To make explicit our open source policy, so that plugs in maybe with what Lauren's doing.
I think it has to do with selling products, that you have to have some sort of a terms and conditions. Yeah, sure. to basically, I mean, even if it be what the return policy is and everything else.
There's a little bit of that on one of the store pages. But
the previous store page had some of it, and I was looking at something maybe a little more elaborate, but the first version may just be that.
Oh, I love where you're going with it. Thanks so much, Chris. Who would like to go next?
Does that leave me again? It probably
It's
does. So I'll be ordering a accelerator pedal from NetGain because the accelerator from the Honda doesn't quite fit in terms of the wiring diagram with the NetGain, and I don't want to blow up the controller, so I'll order an accelerator and get that working when it gets here. The controllers do power up, so we're making progress. And spent a little bit of time on making a battery case or battery holder for the electric motor modules so that we can shock mount, at least to some extent, maybe using rubber or something, so that the batteries don't get damaged when we hit a large bump. Nothing Nuremberg, mind you, but just a regular bump. And that's about it.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm looking forward to a demo video of any part of that. Much obliged, sir. Awesome. Folks, is there anyone on the call with a sprint planning that has not yet given it? Okay, that's complete too. I forgot to take a poll on our process improvement. There was several folks mentioning more testing, and I'll make a motion, and teams tell me if you want to change the motion or make a counter motion or support that as it's originally phrased for our process improvement that we'd all try to propel in the next week. And that would be at least one demo video uploaded to the YouTube channel of a test without a solution, so a test-driven design. Now, if there's a corresponding video then of the solution being tested, that's even better, right? But the test-driven aspect, I'll propose that. Does anybody want to make a change to that or a counter, or all in favor say aye, or I'd like to change that, or I have a counter proposal?
Yay!
Aye.
Awesome. Done and done. Okay, so we have a process improvement. With that, that's all the required Scrum ceremonies. Everything required to run this distributed, collaborative club, enterprise, C Corp, nonprofit for another week. Folks, thank you so much. I can't believe people do this for fun, that they take some of their own time after work to rock this. That kind of boggles my mind, and I'm impossibly grateful. With that in mind, I've got just another 4 minutes before I go and I start building in the shop that I'm in tonight downstairs. What cross-conversation is useful in the next 4 minutes, folks?
I wanted to say that this is the best video conference hangout that we've had, and a large, all the core people here, and no few technical glitches, and using screen shares and everything. So I wanted to give a heads up, thumbs up.
All right.
Yeah?
I'm going to go. I was working 14 hours, and I'm so tired right now.
Rob, I'm amazed you're alive. Pet Curly your cat from me. Say hi to Rob Jr. and say hi to Jenny, the missus. And have an awesome night, Rob. Take care. Oh, Curly! Hey, Curly, buddy.
See ya.
Have a good night, Rob.
Later, Rob. Can I ask one question real quick, based on something that you said earlier, Joe, about I guess the St. Louis build is being canceled because the Red River car is not available. The only question would be, is there any way the St. Louis build can go on without the Red River car?
Yes, there is. We would need to supply another car, and doing that in a way where we don't lose money. Well, lose is the wrong word. We're a nonprofit. We're always investing in opportunity. But a way that we can afford it is the trick. The financial analysis that Michael and I walked through was it'd be about $2,000 to ship a car out and about $2,000 to ship a car back. And I didn't know where that about $4,000 was going to come from. So we asked the hosts there, Openly Disruptive, headed by Dan Roos, and he said it's possible and he's working on it. And so if they somehow come up with it, then great. But until that happens, it's a non-starter. And I said, or since you're tied into local fab labs, maker spaces, and actual production facilities, if you guys can cut the chassis and water jet cut the bolt together brace plates and potentially even mill a bunch of foam to make an aeroshell, we're in. I mean, that's all the big stuff. That's all the big stuff we would have to ship. Then basically we're just out the cost of 2 plane tickets to send 2 team members out, maybe Michael, maybe myself, or whoever really wants to go. And we can probably do it. We can orchestrate the build party locally. And he said, Dan Roos said he'll look into it, but so far he hasn't had companies say they'll donate a day of CNC router time to cut the foam, and then about a day of, say, water jet time to cut the plates to bolt the car together. If he gets that, then I guess it'd be back on. Those are the levers as we understood them to present.
Okay, so the original plan it cannot work, but there are alternates if it can happen quickly.
Oh,
it's coming down to the wire, isn't it? Is it next month that it has to happen?
Yeah, but I mean, we're agile. If the pieces came into play that week, we would do it. It'd be hard for them to market and get much attendance, but we'd still do it for whoever shows up, right? But as of right now, we don't have a car that we can afford to be there. The original plan was the Red River College car already exists, and it's on Michael Olczek's way, sort of. And Michael Olczek offered to spend his own fuel money and rent the trailer and take it down himself. So he was taking all that on himself. But we don't have access to that car, so that plan was a non-starter. And with that, it is 7 o'clock. I've got to jump. But if folks do email the Team WIKISPEED list, I'll attempt to go through it tomorrow and be responsive to anything there. But I'm going to get started on the build tonight, and it's a pleasure. You guys are all amazing.
Thank you, Jeff. Does anyone else have anything for general discussion before we sign off?
Looks like we lost Lauren, so if you don't have anything you want to talk about.
I'm good.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Michael.